Hey there, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo.
I'm Robin Grace. This is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
Who is sick again. We are here to read some spooky stories, right?
We are indeed. We're going to be reading the homegrown horrors that have been sent to us by you, wonderful listeners. I would like, before we start, to clarify something. Yes, I am sick again for the second time in 3 to 4 weeks. However, Robin got sick again last weekend, and she's the one who gave this to me, so I blame her. The timing was just very inconvenient this week where I literally had no way of speaking, so now that I can, we're going to be doing this wonderful thing called Storytime, so we hope you are going to enjoy the ride. We're going to be doing 4 stories. Robin, can you describe what homegrown horrors are for the wonderful listeners and viewers out there?
Do I usually do it, or do you usually do it?
I usually do it, but I figured I'd kick it to you.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I'm really thrown off. They're just tales of your paranormal or supernatural or funny, you thought you were going to die stories, true crime, things like that you folks share with us, and we get to share with everyone else, and you can have those stories from your family, family, friends, your parents, grandparents, things like that. It's cool.
Yeah, that was perfect. If you have a story like that and you would like to hear it read on the show, feel free to email storytime@scarish.com. That is our email address. Or you can hit us up on our website by going to scarish.com, clicking on Contact Us. Fill out that form. It does come directly to us. Or you can just hit us up on our social medias. Twitter is @scarishpod. Instagram is @scarishpodcast. And Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. So however you'd like to send it our way, we would love to hear it. So yeah, we're going to be doing 4, and I think I'm going to be going first if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and take it away. So this first one is called The Whistling Worker, which is cool when they get a name like that. And it begins, "Hey guys, it's Zuhair again. I got another spooky story for you guys. Also, I don't think I said it last time, but I'm only on episode 30 or so on your guys' podcast, and it's so amazing. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you to say. I love listening to it at work, and I look forward to catching up and hopefully hearing my stories and your commentary on it." Well, good news. This is, I'm pretty sure, the second time we've read an email of yours, so you only have about 220 more episodes to go, plus 100 or so. No, about 180 story times. So, some work to do there. It continues. "Okay, so I work at a car dealership, and I've been there for about 5 years, and this story is from when I just started working there. Around the time I started, there was a lead manager we had for our department named Jose, but sadly he had passed away before I got to see or talk to him due to the fact that I had to do these pesky online training videos. Well, apparently he had died in his sleep. I was later told that he died wearing his work uniform because he would occasionally wear it to sleep if he didn't get enough sleep, so he could just get up and brush his teeth and so forth and go straight to work. It's a little weird. I don't know. I would never do that because your clothes are just so wrinkly after you sleep."
I have never had a job where I had a uniform that I had to go to early in the morning or like right after I woke up. The earliest job I've had to go into, I've been able to just wear whatever I want. So I don't really, you know what I mean? I'm like, eh.
Either way, like regardless of if you have a uniform or if you're just wearing your outfit the night before while you sleep, it just seems like it's just going to be messy.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's not the case, and this person died, so I guess that tells you what you need to know. Well, our work had basically asked for his spouse to return the uniforms, which is kind of a dick move for the company. Like, hey, I know your husband's dead, but like, can we get the uniform back, pretty please? Well, when the uniform was returned, our coworker had asked if they could keep one of his uniforms to have it hung in the shop where we work on cars so people can remember him.
So it's like the uniform he died in that's going to get hung
I
up
don't
in the
think
shop.
so. When you die, like a lot of things happen, and there's no way they would give back the one that he was in when he died.
You never know.
It also had his name on it since it's his shirt. About a month or so had passed since his passing, and I was working on a Saturday shift in which our store is closed and there is no sales either. Since I was in the inventory department, I had to work with one other associate. A little later at night, my coworker, Matt, the only other person there, went to lunch, so while he was gone, I decided that I could just scan the cars in our lot for inventory. I had gone to the workshop area where we work on our cars, and as I was scanning the cars, I had passed Jose's shirt. I stood there and I said to it, "Man, I really didn't get to know you at all, and I heard you were gone." Sorry. Let me mark this. Here we go. Man, I really didn't get to know you at all, and I heard you were a great worker and an amazing person in general. I wish I got to know you more. I would have loved to work with you, bud, as I was touching his shirt. So I continued scanning, and
it's just so morbid and creepy. I don't know. It's just, I don't know about that. I wouldn't do it. It's not something I would do.
I would do something like that. Like I wouldn't give that heartfelt of a speech probably, but I'd be like, hope you're doing all right, bud. Continues to say, so I continued scanning, and mind you, this shop is huge and dark with a handful of lights lighting up the area. As I was scanning, I started hearing whistling behind me, and I would turn around and see no one there. And I started to get freaked the fuck out because it was like a melody whistle. I wish I could explain it. It was like a cat call whistle, but there were 3 sharp notes, and I assumed it was Matt, my coworker. So I was like, ha ha, very funny, Matt. And no response, so I was like, fuck you, Matt, and I ran to the area. I heard the whistle again, and no one was there. I decided to FaceTime Matt to try and catch him in the act or hear his phone, and he picked up. He was in his truck outside eating a fucking burger, and I told him about it, and he started to make fun of me and started to think I was messing with him. The whole time I scanned the area, I heard a whistling behind me, and the whole way through the 15 minutes in there. The next time I worked, I had told my coworker about it, and they got surprised and freaked when I mimicked the whistle I had heard, and they asked if I was serious, and they thought I was messing with them. They told me that's the same whistle Jose would make in the shop to get your attention or try to call you when he needed something done. I got straight shivers throughout my whole body when they told me, and I never went in there again by myself. Apologies for how long this one was. It wasn't that long. Apologies for how long this one was. Again, it wasn't that long. And that it took really long to get to the spooky part. It was just building up. It's totally cool. I thought giving you guys the background of the story was better than just going into it. You guys are amazing and keep doing what you're doing. And I have one more story, but I'll save it for another time after listening to more of the podcast.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds like your shop is haunted for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What I will say is I sincerely doubt the uniform that was returned was the one he died in, because like they cut the clothes off of you when they like retrieve your body. If you died in your sleep and they had to call someone to come get you to like take you, they would definitely dispose of the clothing. At least I would imagine they would. So
maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe they just took it off, folded it up, and sent it right back. So
yeah, they asked for the uniform back, right? So hey,
I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't have been available to even send back out of spite. But that's just my opinion, I suppose. So either way, thank you so much, Zuhair, for sending that.
All right, so it says, hello, Robin, Adam, Spooky Mom, and Spooky World. Don't worry, Spooky Mom, that was intentional with the hello.
Okay, hello. We're supposed to say it back, right?
I don't know, but it's funny because I have a coworker who, she's super nice, but she says, I always say hello, you know, or like hello. And she sometimes will walk by and say hello. And yesterday she's like, you're the only one I say that to because you're the only one that says it back.
That's funny.
She's so funny. Okay. Anyway. I wrote to you all before. You won't remember, but here's a quick refresher. Thank you, because we read so many emails that it's really hard to keep track of who writes what, and they all kind of blend together. But I used to feel like someone was following me, and my mom would tell me that it was my guardian angel, but it just didn't feel safe to me, and I knew she didn't really believe it, because when I asked her a few years ago, she told me she didn't remember saying that, and that's weird. Quote unquote. That's weird. That happens with parents, I think. Because I know, like, if I confronted my mom about something right now, she'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Plus, kids say weird shit a lot. So I'm wondering how long ago it was. If it was in the era where it's like someone that's like super creative, like our niece, like has like these crazy, like, hey, let's like play, let's go to the bedroom, and then you can figure out like a way for us to go downstairs and come up with a storyline. And hers is always like, okay, it's post-apocalypse, there's zombies outside, my parents are dead, you two are here to defend me. We're just like, what the fuck?
There's one time where my niece is like, if you go outside this room right now, my dogs will kill you, or something like that. And then she's like, there's one time where she's just like, we're the only ones left alive. Everyone else is dead.
So if you have a creative kid like that, what? Or you were a creative kid, and after you had said something similar to that, you were just like, I feel like someone's watching me.
Oh my God.
They might have said that and not committed it to memory because they thought it was just another part of that. So that's just something I'm tossing out there.
I mean, that was like 3 years ago and we still remember. So
yeah, that's true.
You know, it's been more than 3 years. It's been like 4 years. Because 3 years ago
Yeah,
would have been
4.
2020.
4 or 5.
Time is going too fast. Anyway, the email continues. Anyway, new situation, but happened years ago. I believe I was in the 2nd grade. I went to my one and only sleepover to a friend's house, not because I didn't want to, but because I grew up in that household. But during the sleepover, there was me, Katie, the host, her parents. They were in their room, leaving us alone, and I think 5 other girls, Kat's sister, an older friend of hers, and her little sister, and one more friend from school. We all took some dolls to the sleepover to play with in the dining room, and as kids do, we left them laying there wherever their positions were when Katie's mom told us that it was time to eat, which comes into play later. After we ate, we all gathered in the living room and were talking about what we wanted to watch while we had our sleepover sugar. At the time, I didn't like horror movies, but the older friend, who was 12 at the time, did. So we did what she wanted.
I gotta say, the phrase sleepover sugar, it's the smartest thing I've ever heard. That's super cool. Like, if you have a sleepover, you all get to go and pick some candy, and like you all have candy time. You
It's
call
a
it
bad
sleepover
idea.
sugar. I think it's adorable. I'm not gonna lie. I get it. Dosing kids with sugar to try and get them to calm down is not a good idea, but it's just such a catchy name.
We watched a movie about dolls. I wish I could remember what that movie was. There's so many. I think I watched like a Filipino one that was about dolls, like a haunted doll, kind of like Annabelle, but it was named something different.
I remember like Puppet Masters, where there was a bunch of dolls. And they're like marionettes. And they're all like, they had spirits in them and stuff. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, so I don't really remember the premise. There's a lot of them though, so maybe it was one of those.
There was a movie that if you scream, you die. And like the villain was a doll.
I remember that one.
Or what are those things called? Like a ventriloquist dummy. Anyway, no, this wasn't a dream/nightmare. We decided the movie was too scary for us younger kids, so we stopped and all went to sleep. I woke up around 3 a.m. and went to the bathroom. When I came back to the living room, I realized that the lights of the dining room were still on, i.e. the location they left their dolls. I laid down under my blanket, but I heard voices.
Oh, shit.
I crawled over to the dining room where I saw the dolls standing and talking.
Oh, shit.
Katie was the closest to me, and I slowly and silently woke her up while watching the dolls. They kept doing their thing, and Katie eventually woke up and saw it too. She yelled, "Mommy," or Mammy, M-A-M-I, and the dolls turned to look at us and just fell. Think Toy Story.
That's what I was thinking.
My dad gave me his cell phone for the night in case I wanted to go Herm. In case I wanted to go home early or anything, so I called my mom and told her everything. I don't know if she believed me, but they came running to pick me up because I was scared on the phone. None of the girls believed Katie and I. I regret having gotten so scared because now I'm into watching videos like that and I'm a beginning practicing witch, but I don't do spirits or whatever that was. It was a weird experience for me, but Katie and I never talked about it again. I stopped playing with dolls after that and kept them in the closet until my little cousin became interested in them, and Katie gave hers to her cousins in her country. I might have more stories in the vault, but truly will only remember if I'm triggered. For example, I only remembered this story because I was watching an Eddie VR video and it had a doll TikTok in it. Oh well, that's the end of this story. I'll send more if I remember. Keep on creeping on, Ashley, aka Lady Ashpa. Thank you so much for your story. Dolls for me are something that I'm just like, no, those are not something I will ever collect. I'm not into that. I think I've owned one Barbie in my lifetime. It was a gift from one of my parents' friends. And it was the one where like you put her hair underwater and it like changes her hair color.
Bathtub drowning Barbie. I remember that one.
No, I think
you have to pin her underwater until she stops shaking, and then her hair changes color.
No, it was like a mermaid Barbie or something. But I'm just not into like dolls and things like that. It's not my bag, baby.
I was gonna say it's not your bag, baby. Here's what I will say. I think when you're younger, a lot of the things that you see, like, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that I don't believe you. But there are certain things that I remember from when I was a kid that the older I got, I was like, maybe it was this. Because I had a sleepover at my house, and we had just moved to the country, and I had grown up in like a suburb, in like a cul-de-sac area where I had a bunch of kids that I used to like hang out with. And then when I was 7, we moved to the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, there was just like forest to one side. The other side was just like cornfield. And they literally sold us a patch of the cornfield that we had to like till up and then put our house on. when we finally had the house kind of together, we had my cousin spend the night, and I think like one other person. I don't remember who it was, but we all decided to sleep in the living room in our sleeping bags. And I woke up, and it was probably around like 3 or 4 a.m. Everyone else was asleep, and I heard what sounded like demonic voices coming from the basement. Just like as loud as you could ever imagine. It's like the most scared I've ever been in my life. I was convinced like there is something in the fucking basement. And in the morning, I told my parents, they're like, oh, houses have weird noises. And I'm like, no, like this was something wrong. The older I've gotten, I've just decided like it was the boiler, it was the boiler, or, it was the heating kicking on. It was something that because it was new, like had to fire up and made a bunch of weird fucking noises. Like I've heard similar things, but they didn't sound like voices. So the older you get, the more you start to discount that stuff. But the most curious thing about the story is like, what were the dolls saying? You could see them. Like, I would really want to know what they're saying.
I'm just imagining a scene from like the Barbie TV show where it's just all of them talking about like, oh my God, Susie's hair. Did you see it?
I imagine they were having a conversation like the squirrels in Rick and Morty, where they're plotting about all the different ways they control the world governments everywhere. Like, that's what I imagine they were talking about. But it's probably a good thing that you didn't hear what they were saying. But either way, thank you so much for sharing that story with us.
Yeah. Thanks.
So before we move into our next story, we are going to take a really quick commercial break. And we're back.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and move into the next story of the show. And this one's subject is, quote, Bella, where the hell you been, loca? And in parentheses, okay to read on pod. And it goes like this. Hi, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. I just got done listening to your last story time and fangirled so hard when I heard my name and stories. Unfortunately, I am from New Jersey, so nowhere near Washington State, but we can pretend if it makes you feel better. I wanted to share some stories about my grandmom and dad that have scared me big time in the past, so here you go. Starting with my G-mom. She is a witchy lady.
Okay. I've never heard anyone really describe their grandparents as a witchy lady or person, but it's cute.
I would describe them as a witchy woman because there's that song, Witchy Woman. I think it's by the Eagles. I think it's supposed to be like...
How does it go?
I'm not singing right now.
Why?
I'm far too sick, and you will not recognize it, so there's no point.
Oh, you're right.
Ooh, ooh, witchy woman. See how high she flies. Eyes, eyes. See?
I just like
it's like Pitch Perfect. We're going to get a copyright strike. All right. It continues. She has had an insane amount of dreams and occurrences. I could go on for hours, but I'll share a few of my favorites. To start, she is one of those people who have dreams that become real. I know there's a fun, fancy name, but I can't remember it. I don't either.
It's like deja vu where you dream about it and then it happens.
Yeah, it's like some form of clairvoyance or something like a prophecy or prophetic dreams, stuff like that. One dream was of my grandpa going hunting. I don't hunt, so bear with me. Get it, bear? The details may be off, but he had a chair in a tree where he was supposed to be for hunting. Let me reread that.
Chair in a tree.
It's like there's like deer blinds where you set up like a spot where you sit in a tree.
Okay.
So there was a chair. He had a chair in a tree where he was supposed to be for hunting. In my G-mom's dream, she dreamt he was shot in his chair and killed. She begged him the next morning not to go, and he listened. Smart dude. That day, his friend took his spot and was shot and killed by a stray bullet. It gives me chills to still think about that. That is terrifying. Also, I would never, ever, ever disobey my spouse again if they saved my life with a prophetic dream.
Pretty much.
Another dream was of my dad when he was supposed to be going skiing with his cousin. Well, G-Mom had a dream that he fell off the side of a mountain and was never found. But before this dream, let it be known, she had no idea of his ski trip that he was going on. She just had this weird dream. So she woke up and called him and asked if he was going on a trip. And when he said yes, she begged him not to go. And since my dad is no dumbass, he listened. Who knows what could have happened? Switching to my dad, he has had a few instances as well of creepy things happening. When my dad was in his early 20s, he lost his uncle that he was very close to. At the time, my dad worked as a bread delivery driver, so he would deliver bread to stores at 3 to 4 a.m.
Okay, I was about to say, like, you can get bread delivered. There's someone out there who delivers bread. If I could get bread delivered straight to my door, holy shit.
I get bread delivered straight to my door from Robin because she makes a sourdough loaf at least once a week nowadays.
Thanks,
and
Chris, for the starter.
It is amazing. I have the best sandwiches all the time. My sandwiches are like gourmet shit. I have my fucking panini press out. I'm making like deli meats that are just amazing. They're just, you'd blow your mind if you had one of my sandwiches. All right.
You sound sexy.
Yeah, they should. They taste amazing. Like, I get giddy. Like, my feet are like tapping like a dog when it's about to get a treat when I'm making my sandwiches nowadays. All right, I'm going to keep going. Stop talking about my sandwiches. One shift after his uncle's passing, he was alone in a parking lot waiting for someone to open the store for deliveries. He was charting the order and had his door propped open waiting for someone to come. He then heard a man's voice say, "Cheer up, pal. Everything's going to be all right." He gave a small smile and said thank you before registering that those words are what his uncle would always tell him.
Aww.
He looked up and no one was there. He looked around the truck as well and no one. Final story. My dad was in the attic of our hood house and was searching for a suit. He found the suit, but when he looked up, he saw a short man dressed in old-time clothing standing in front of him. He said he wasn't scared and kind of just kept on with his business. Good for him. I would have peed my pants and moved the next day.
If I saw a stranger in our home that was not supposed to be there, I would be freaking out. There's no way I could stay calm, especially in the attic.
I'd be like, "Do you have a gun?" And if they had a gun, I'd do whatever the fuck they said. If they didn't have a gun, I'd be like, "All right, like, I apologize. I'm gonna fuck you up." Like,
what?
It's like, "I'm sorry, but you're not coming to my fucking house uninvited." All right. My old house was also haunted, but there were never any evil spirits, my parents claimed. My mom ended up seeing the same man and a woman next to his side under the stairs in our basement.
What?
I'm glad I didn't know this before we moved, but my new house I just moved into with my fiance from the last story, my now husband, is coincidentally on the same street. I'm going to end it there, but I can send more stories in a little bit. Sorry if this one was super long, but I hope you enjoyed it. Keep on creeping on.
Thank you for your story. There are a lot of people out there who have family members that do have these little, like, extra sensory things happen. Or
we have had multiple times where Robin's mother has reached out to us and been like, "Hey, whatever you do, don't do this. Don't go near water." You know, like we had our trip to Japan, like, all booked and we were ready to go, and she's like, "Hey, don't take any trips overseas." And we're like, "We respect your beliefs, but we're fucking going." Like, sorry. And it was definitely on our mind during that 12-hour flight across the Pacific Ocean. So, yeah, I definitely have people in my family that have had, like, prophetic dreams and stuff like that. I've never had forewarnings. Just people, like, after the fact, they're like, "Oh my God, I dreamed this." If you can, like, somehow remember the things you dream and just get the sense that those are going to come true, then maybe you can save someone's life by telling them not to go on a hunting trip. It's also why you wear all that orange, so that hopefully you don't get shot with an errant bullet. But sometimes shit happens. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Thank you for sending us those stories. Send us the other stuff too. We want to hear it.
All the stuff. All the things.
Give us all the stuff. Want all the smoke.
Stings.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
all the stings.
All the stuff.
Give us all the stings.
All the stuff with the stings.
Love you. Bye. All right.
All right. So my last story here. The title of the email says Storytime. Feel free to read. We're going to do that. I'm feeling free to read. It says, "Hi there, spooky peeps. Y'all are the spooky peeps. We're the spooky peeps. Everyone's a spooky peep."
Hi there.
Easter's coming up, so it kind of makes sense. I found you guys on Spotify a few months ago, and I've been hooked on it. Adam did not find my Easter and Peeps joke funny.
I was just like, is there ever going to be a spooky Peeps crossover? I don't think so.
I don't know. Ghost Peeps?
I don't know. Maybe
Like
if March
Peeps?
falls on October one year.
Wait, do they already have white
If we
Peeps?
could fold time and get March and October to just line up for once.
I even got my mom to listen to you guys too. I especially love the Storytime episodes, so I thought it was about time to send in a story of my own.
Heck yeah.
This is a story about the ghost that was in my parents' old house, so hope you guys enjoy. I don't remember the exact date, but it was sometime during 2016 when this happened. Ooh, recent. In order for this story to make sense, first let me describe my room layout for you. My room was set up so that my bed was in one corner against the back wall with my head pointed toward the corner. On the same wall as my head, there was a bookshelf, and on the opposite wall from my bed were the closet doors. Back then, I used to prop up my iPad against my headboard to watch YouTube videos while I fell asleep, as one does. However, for some reason, the night before, I decided to prop up my iPad against the wall next to my bed instead. When I woke up in the morning, it was probably around 9 a.m. since the sun was up and my room was well lit. Seeing as I fell asleep watching my iPad, my back was facing the rest of my room, and the first thing I saw was the screen of my iPad. But it was what I saw in the reflection of my screen that freaked me out. Okay, that is definitely something that I get afraid of, is when I'm looking at a device like, say, my phone or something that has a reflective screen. When it goes black, I'm always scared there's going to be something.
At the fucking ghoul staring back at me until I realize
you mean your
own
face?
Reflection.
In the reflection, I was able to clearly see my bookshelf and closet doors that were behind me, but I also saw another shape in what would normally be an empty corner of my room. At first, I thought it was just a smudge on the screen of my iPad, but then I continued staring at the shape, and more details started to become apparent. Standing in the corner of my room was what looked like a woman wearing a white dress with long blonde hair. She was facing the corner, so I wasn't able to see a face, but it was clearly a person. That's even creepier. When they're turned away from you and they're just like staring into a corner, that's horrifying. After an eternity of staring at this, but what was probably more like about 10 seconds of staring, I finally gathered up the courage to turn around and see what was really behind me. I rolled over in bed and looked into the corner of my room and saw nothing. The corner was completely empty like it always was. No woman to be seen. So of course I turned back over and checked my iPad reflection again just to make sure that I wasn't imagining it. However, the figure that I had seen in the reflection was gone as well. No smudges that I could have mistaken for her, nothing at all. The corner was just as empty in the reflection. I didn't tell my family about what I saw because honestly, I thought it was just my sleepy brain trying to freak me out. However, I do believe in ghosts, since my mom had also had ghost experiences when she was a child. And the number one thing I learned from her when it came to ghosts was to not interact with them. So I followed the advice and pretended that I never saw it. What's funny is that in BuzzFeed Unsolved, the first episode of their series where they go ghost hunting, the priest literally tells them, never interact with it, never antagonize it, like...
And the hey demons, it's me.
Hey there demons, it's me. Yeah, the ghoul boys. So, yeah, the priest tells them, like, don't do that stuff. And then Shane, the first thing he does is, like...
Antagonize.
Yeah, he's such an asshole. But he's hilarious. I love them. Anyway, continuing on. But then the ghost was seen by someone else, this time by my mom. Since moving out, I usually FaceTime my mom to chat and catch up. Somehow, we got on the topic of ghost stories, and she started telling me about how she thinks there was a ghost in our old house. During quarantine, my mom was working from home and had her desk set up in the loft of our house. From her desk, she was able to see through the doorway into the next room. The next room was a bonus room area that led to my sister and I's bedrooms. She told me that on several occurrences, she would see someone walking past that doorway in that room. The first time she saw it, she and my sister were the only people home. At first, she thought that my sister had gotten out of her Zoom class early and called out to her. But when my sister didn't respond, my mom had to rethink about what she saw. She knew it couldn't have been my sister, not only because my sister was still in Zoom class, but also because whoever walked by had long blonde hair. This freaked her out even more since no one in my family has blonde hair. She saw it walking around in that room on several occasions, but she did the logical thing when it came to ghosts and ignored it. I was totally freaked and told her about my encounter with the blonde ghost, and we both agreed that we must have seen the same ghost. But my parents no longer live in that house, and it's since been torn down, so we no longer need to worry about it. Okay. Why was the house torn down?
Some places just won't sell, man. People are like, nope, I am not living there.
For real, though. Like, what? That's insane. Oh my gosh. The fact that they tore it down does just tend to make someone believe that there was something wrong. And that was the story of the ghost in my parents' house. I hope you enjoyed this little ghost story. My mom has even more ghost stories from when she was a kid, so maybe one of these days I'll take the time to send in her experiences as well.
It was torn down for a new development. And I know that because the person who wrote this is in our chat watching live right now. And they let us know. Thank you so much, Trash Pandas 17. You're the best.
It's way more scary than this one. Thanks again for reading and keep on creeping on. Thank you so much for your story. Okay. So for new development, whoever lives in that house now, though, good luck.
Honestly, this one gave me some vibes that reminded me a little bit of like my dad's place growing up.
Yeah.
And then when you got to the part where it was torn down for new development, I was like, fuck, very, very similar vibes. So super creepy. I very much enjoyed it. Thank you so much for sending that in. That was very good.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Me too. You said that so monotone. I enjoyed it.
I enjoy you.
Yeah, that's how she normally says that too. All right. That's that for stories. Marking it. All right. I think that's just about everything we have for this episode of Storytime. Thank you so much for everyone who sent in their stories. It really does mean the world to us. If you have a story you would like to share with us, we would love to hear it. We would love to share it if you would like it shared. Please email storytime@scarish.com or go to our website, scarish.com, and then click on Contact Us. You can fill out that form. It comes directly to us. Or hit us up on our social medias. Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Twitter is @scarishpod. And Instagram is @scarishpodcast. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast. Those are monthly donations. Tiers start at $1. This month, or not this month, but this season, I have a guest artist doing our sticker. She's already sent me the design. It's so stinking cute. But that will be going out here in the next month or so. So look forward to that. If you guys want to join our Patreon tiers over there, you can check it out. We can also, if you're not into the monthly thing, you can also go to ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. Those are one-time donations, and tiers, those don't have tiers. Those are one-time donations, and it gets sent to us immediately. So thank you.
Yeah, indeed. Also, I think that guest artist's name is also Robin. So it's
she is also Robin.
We're not even skipping a beat, so it's perfect.
Yes, her Dr. Doodle Burrito, I like to call her. So
right on. But yeah, that's everything we have for this episode of Storytime. So thank you again to everyone who listened. We appreciate you all. That is everything we have. So I guess Robin, do your thing and sign us out.
Yeah, keep on creeping on. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.